Welcome back, Salty Gamers, to Assault Strike Gaming. This is Assault Strike coming at you with another review and overview. This one's going to be a bit unique as this game has been out for quite a while, but honestly I've been playing it the past couple months and I absolutely love it. So I'm a big RTS fan. I haven't really done many RTS videos here on this channel, as there really hasn't been anything to talk about that I had discovered, because a lot of the RTSs that I love, like World in Conflict, are quite old. And it doesn't seem like there's anything super new coming out that's really caught my eye, with the exception of one other game. I don't want to mention that just yet because it's still in development. But this game is interesting. So, real quick, this is not going to be a tutorial. I'm too inexperienced. I only have about 225 hours in this game, but I've played against players that have thousands. It's an extremely enjoyable game, but it's got a high learning curve. So the match you're watching right now is Eastern Bloc versus Eurocorps. The Eastern Bloc is the red, the Eurocorps is the blue. And the way that this game is structured is Red 4 versus Blue 4. It's Red Dragons is a game that includes 21 nations, over 1,900 units to play with. The game is set in East Asia during an alternate history of the Cold War in the 90s. Well, originally I believe it was the 80s, and then the 90s with the release of additional content. The game did come out in 2014. So again, you guys might be wondering, why am I covering a game that's about 7 years old? Well, honestly, the community is really active, even though, according to a Google search, the active player count in the last 30 days, the peak players were 1,622. So that's not impressive when you actually compare that to some of the larger games like Warzone, or, you know, what the Division 2 when it started, or even the Division now, as old as it is. But it's a very niche game. But if you're looking for an RTS, or you want to get into RTSs, you might want to check this game out and consider it. This is the third in the series. European Escalation started it all, then Air-Land Battle. Air-Land Battle added aircraft, and this one adds naval units. Now, a quick note on naval units. I personally don't really use them. I know a lot of players don't. The reason being is it's just not viable. Some can be too OP. There's not a lot of balance. You won't see them used a lot. Some people still do, but this is predominantly played, from my understanding, kind of like an extension to Air-Land Battle. I actually haven't played that one. I do own it. I just never downloaded it because this is the one that has the active multiplayer base. So just an overview of how the game works. You have to create decks of different nations. So to give you an example, your blue 4 nations will be your NATO nations like France or West Germany and the United States, stuff like that, as well as some other DLC nations like Israel. That's a really hot topic because it's an extremely overpowered deck, especially in the right hands. And then you have your red 4 nations, such as your Eastern Bloc community, which is a 3-nation deck of West Germany, Czechoslovakia, and Poland. You also have the Soviet Union. You can have one of those 3 nations I just mentioned individually. There's Entente, which is another overpowered, but on the red 4 side, which is Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm going off the top of my head here. Just for those that don't know, I don't really script my videos. So the unit types. When you open your deck up, it's going to have different tabs for each unit type. You have your logistics, which is your supply trucks, your command vehicles, command infantry, your FOB, etc. And then you have your infantry tab, self-explanatory. Your support tab is going to be your mortars, MLRS, anti-air, things of that nature. Tank tab, again, self-explanatory. Then you have your Recon tab. That's where you're going to find your Recon infantry, Recon special forces, helicopters, or vehicles dedicated purely to Recon. And then you have a helicopter tab and a vehicle tab. Again, self-explanatory. Your air tab and your naval tab. So the air tab is where you have all your aircraft for air support. Your naval tab is the same thing. You can also call in units from a naval secured area. Again, I'm not going to go into a lot of that right now. This is just going to be a brief overview of why I think you should get the game if you're into RTSs. Now, the question you're probably waiting for me to answer is, how is this game for newbies in 2021? Now, it is a tough game. I'm not going to lie. It has a huge learning curve, and when you join, Like I said before, there's not really a tutorial. You're gonna get stumped, but it's okay. I honestly think that's the best way to learn. But you can go and create a multiplayer lobby for a 1v1 or a 2v2 and label it noob lobby or noob game, and people will join that are new to it, that are trying to learn the game. However, there are great communities out there that you can get together with fellow RTS gamers that will help you through this. Personally, joining the Wargaming Discord, the Wargame Bootcamp Discord, really helped me out. So you've got the Wargame Reddit, the Wargame Bootcamp Reddit, the Wargame Bootcamp Discord, and I will also highly recommend Razman as a YouTube content creator who does some spectacular videos on Wargame Red Dragon, explaining the different units, the decks, explaining strategy, things the game doesn't tell you. It's pretty much the best option for a tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and link all that stuff down below. Now, what about the future of this game? Well, Eugen Systems has been teasing and showing information on an upcoming DLC release. So it's pretty awesome to see that a game that came out in 2014 is having a DLC release in 2021. The DLC is for the South African Defense Force. It's going to be a Blue 4 or allied nation, bringing with it a bunch of new units. I know I'm personally looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially for those of you that know history. And that's another thing I want to touch on, is if you love history, you will love this game, because every unit in there is either a real unit or a prototype unit, and they are assigned accordingly to where they actually were in the game for the most part. Now, my conclusion, should you spend your money on it? Yes, if you are an RTS player and you are looking for something new to play, absolutely. This is quite possibly one of the best RTSs that I think I've played, and I've tried a bunch, including the Command & Conquer remakes, World in Conflict, the original Command & Conquers back when I was a kid, and then playing again as an adult. A bunch of other smaller ones that I've noted. But honestly, I think this one's probably the funnest. I may be a bit biased because I love Cold War history, so as you're seeing here, a match between an Eastern Bloc and a Eurocorps coalition, which is West Germany and France, it is pretty cool to see the actual units that I'm interested in. But if you're new to RTS in general, there is a word of caution. This is extremely complicated. I'm not trying to discourage you. It is definitely worth it. However, just know, going in, it's going to be a struggle. But that's all for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said before, check out the links in the description below. Check out Razman. He's got some great content. This is Assault Strike Gaming, signing off.